Be what you gonna be, but put your people on. If you a gay person and you in there, put some other gay people on.
Tyler Perry is being sued for $260 million, and the details are disturbing. The lawsuit comes from actor Derrick Dixon, who claims Perry used his power to make unwanted advances and offered roles in exchange for loyalty and silence. And it's not just one person speaking up. Comedian Katt Williams warned us about this years ago. He called out Hollywood's so-called black excellence, saying some of the most praised figures were actually the worst behind the scenes. He accused gatekeepers like Tyler Perry of using their influence to manipulate young men, all while hiding behind success. Now those warnings look more real than ever. Actors like Brandon J. and Christian Keys have also come forward with similar stories. They say Perry changed scripts at the last minute, offered money behind closed doors, and used roles to get what he wanted. And while Perry's team says it's all a scam, the screenshots, voice recordings, and witness accounts are starting to add up. This isn't just a controversy, it's a serious pattern, and if the allegations are true, it changes everything we thought we knew about one of Hollywood's biggest names. Let's break it all down, because this story goes way deeper than just a lawsuit. Tyler Perry built one of the biggest empires in Hollywood. From playing Madea to owning a massive studio in Atlanta, his story became the blueprint for black success in the industry. He went from being homeless to becoming a billionaire. And for years, the media praised him as a self-made legend. But behind the success, critics say there's a darker story. Katt Williams has been calling it out for years. He said Perry's rise wasn't just about talent, it was about control. According to Katt, the only way some black men rise in Hollywood is by playing roles that emasculate them or strip them of their dignity. And Perry, he says, is the gatekeeper of that system. The roles, often loud, exaggerated, and stereotypical. The trade-off? Fame, but at a price. Katt never held back. He accused Perry of pushing a hidden agenda, one that operates off-camera, using power and influence to blur the lines between professional and personal. And now, with lawsuits and first-hand stories coming forward, Katt's claims are starting to make more sense. The allegations say Perry didn't just cast roles, he created characters that mirrored what he allegedly wanted behind closed doors. And according to multiple actors, the deal was clear. Play the part, both on screen and off, or lose your shot. Tyler Perry became a symbol of opportunity, but now he's being accused of using that opportunity for something else entirely. Actor and voice coach Brandon J. came forward with a story that caught everyone off guard. He was cast in Tyler Perry's show Meet the Browns as a high school teen named Jeffrey, a smart, quiet kid who gets bullied. Brandon learned the script, showed up ready, and thought it would be a standard shoot. But what happened next shook him. Right before filming, Tyler Perry walked in and flipped the script, literally. On the spot, Perry changed Brandon's character into a gay teenager who had a crush on his bully. That wasn't the role Brandon auditioned for, and it wasn't a creative rewrite, it felt personal. Brandon said it was clear the change came from Perry himself, and that resisting the new role could mean being fired on the spot. Even the director, Alfonso Ribeiro, stood back and let it happen. Brandon described the entire filming process as the most stressful of his life. Perry reportedly fed him new lines during the shoot, giving him no time to prepare, no room to question anything. He claimed it was chaotic, controlling, and deliberate. But the biggest red flag? According to Brandon, this wasn't a one-time thing. He said it was something Perry allegedly does with other young actors, changing scripts to fit his own interests, not the storyline. At first, it sounded like just another behind-the-scenes horror story. But when more actors started speaking up, with eerily similar details, people started connecting the dots, and Brandon's story was just the beginning. If Brandon J's experience raised eyebrows, Derrick Dixon's lawsuit sent shockwaves. Derrick, who played Dale in Tyler Perry's show The Oval, is suing Perry for $260 million. His claims go far beyond uncomfortable script changes. He alleges direct manipulation, personal advances, and emotional control, all wrapped in the promise of career success. According to the lawsuit, it all started in 2019, when Perry spotted Derrick in a crowd at an event. He allegedly approached him, asked for his number and said he might have a role for him. Not long after, Derrick landed a small part in the series Ruthless. Seemed like a breakthrough, but things escalated quickly. Derrick says Perry invited him to his Atlanta home in early 2020. Thinking it was a professional meeting, he accepted. But once there, things took a turn. After drinking too much and passing out in the guest bedroom, Derrick says he woke up to Perry touching his thighs. He rejected the advance, but that wasn't the end. Later, Perry cast him in The Oval as Dale, a gay, homeless store clerk who sleeps with people to survive. Derrick claims this role wasn't random. He believes it was written to mirror the exact traits Perry allegedly wanted in real life: someone loyal, desperate, and dependent. The lawsuit includes screenshots of text messages where Perry allegedly confessed his preferences and pushed for a personal connection. One message read, "You are the rose. No straight man would be walking with you unless he wanted to F you, and I would F you." Tyler's legal team responded by calling it a scam, a shakedown for money. But Derrick says it was never about a payday. He claims he felt trapped, that saying no could destroy his future in the industry. So instead of lashing out, he played it cool, trying to protect his career without giving in. And according to him, this wasn't just about a bad night. It was a system, a pattern of targeting young men and using power to blur the line between casting and control. The texts in Derrick Dixon's lawsuit weren't vague or easy to dismiss. They were detailed, direct, and hard to ignore. In the messages, Perry allegedly talked openly about being attracted to men, asking Derrick about his preferences and making bold suggestions about their future together. He never admitted anything publicly, but according to Derrick, the text showed a very different side of the media mogul, one that wasn't hiding at all. And what made it worse? The role Derrick landed in The Oval wasn't just another acting gig, it felt like a setup. He played a character described as a homeless, struggling man who used his body to survive. The similarities between that character and what Perry allegedly wanted from him in real life were hard to miss. Derrick says Perry told him directly that he was looking for a real-life partner with those exact traits, someone loyal, dependent, and willing to do anything to stay close. The message was clear. The line between fiction and reality was being blurred on purpose. This wasn't about acting anymore. It was about control. Derrick claims the messages kept coming. When he tried to pull away, Perry allegedly kept the door open, reminding him of his power, his influence, and what could happen if he played along, or didn't. At that point, Derrick says he realized it wasn't just him. The pattern matched stories from others, actors who had stayed quiet, played the game, or walked away and disappeared from the spotlight. He chose to speak up. And now, he's not alone. Katt Williams didn't just call out Tyler Perry, he called out the entire system. Years before any lawsuit hit the headlines, Katt warned that powerful people in Hollywood operate behind a polished mask. He said, "These gatekeepers don't just control casting. They control careers, reputations, and silence." He spoke openly about how young black men were being offered success in exchange for compliance, and if they refused, they'd be labeled difficult, unstable, or worse, crazy. Katt pointed to the case of Dave Chappelle, who famously walked away from a $50 million deal with Comedy Central. Instead of being respected for his decision, the media painted him as unhinged. He was called paranoid, delusional. The narrative quickly shifted from artist to breakdown. Chappelle later said it himself. He wasn't walking away from money. He was walking away from the circumstances that came with it. Katt also mentioned other stars who seemed to break down right as they reached a new level of success. Mariah Carey, Martin Lawrence, both had highly publicized meltdowns at suspiciously pivotal moments in their careers. Martin was literally seen yelling in the streets that "they're trying to kill me." But no one asked why, they just moved on. To Katt, these weren't coincidences. They were warning signs of what happens when someone pushes back against the people behind the curtain. And now, with stories like Derrick's hitting the surface, Katt's warnings no longer sound like conspiracy. They sound like a script that's been playing out for years, just hidden from the cameras. Christian Keyes never mentioned a name, but the internet filled in the blanks. In an old interview, the actor opened up about being approached by a powerful figure in the industry, someone who, according to him, tried to use their influence to manipulate him behind closed doors. Keyes said this person showed up to his apartment and offered him $100,000 just to take his clothes off. No touching, no scenes, just a private moment. "I don't even need to touch you," the man allegedly said. "I just want to see you make it." Christian declined. He said he had integrity and wasn't willing to take shortcuts, but he also said something chilling. He recorded the interaction because he didn't trust the man at all. He turned the evidence over to police and claimed anyone could listen to the voice and know exactly who it was. He never named names, but the internet did. Fans pointed to the timeline, to the roles he had in Tyler Perry's productions, and started connecting the dots. And the more they lined up the events, the clearer the picture became. Even 50 Cent, who had previously praised Perry as a businessman, jumped into the conversation. He posted a photo of them together on Instagram with the caption, "Did that dude just say what I think he said?" He tried to make it a joke, but the tone was different. There was tension in the air, and fans could feel it. Because when multiple actors are sharing similar stories with similar timelines, and the same person keeps coming up, it's no longer just rumors. It starts to look like a pattern, and once that pattern gets exposed, silence is no longer protection. It's complicity. As soon as Derrick Dixon's lawsuit went public, the media did what it always does. Started spinning. Some headlines called it a money grab. Others questioned the timing. Why now? Why file such explosive claims just as Tyler Perry's latest movie, Straw, starring Taraji P. Henson, was climbing the charts? The whispers started immediately. PR attack, reputation sabotage, character assassination. But for many, those deflections didn't land. Not this time. Online, the public response was split. Some defended Perry, saying the industry always tries to tear successful black men down. But others said this had nothing to do with race and everything to do with power. They argued that Tyler Perry wasn't being targeted for his success. He was finally being held accountable for what people had whispered about for years. Comment sections flooded with receipts, old clips, resurfaced interviews. Fans began digging into Perry's past, questioning where the Madea persona really came from and why so many roles in his shows involve broken, dependent, or hyper-feminized black men. Even supporters were uneasy. The details were too specific, the stories too similar, and above it all, Katt Williams' old interviews started going viral again. His words, once dismissed as rants, now sounded like warnings. He had said it clearly. The moment you challenge powerful figures in Hollywood, they turn you into the problem, even when you're the victim. Tyler Perry responded with calm denial. He told fans not to overthink it. He posted a video on his porch, quoting scripture, singing to the camera like everything was fine, but the public wasn't looking for hymns or humor anymore. They wanted answers. This story isn't just about one man, one lawsuit, or even one industry figure. It's about what happens when power becomes untouchable, and silence becomes currency. Tyler Perry's name has long been a symbol of success, resilience, and opportunity. But if the accusations are true, then that legacy was built on something far more disturbing: manipulation, fear, and control. Katt Williams tried to sound the alarm, so did Christian Keyes, and now Derrick Dixon has placed it all on record, backed by dates, texts, and a $260 million demand for justice. The evidence is out there. The receipts are surfacing, and more voices are stepping into the light. Maybe the timing is convenient, maybe it's strategic, or maybe it's just long overdue. But one thing is clear. The curtain is being pulled back, and as the cameras keep rolling and the headlines keep shifting, the real question isn't whether the allegations are shocking. It's how many more have been silenced before this moment, and how many are still afraid to speak. Because Hollywood loves a comeback story, but what it hates most is the truth.